Remainers are facing a final defeat, with the Liberal Democrats preparing to drop the party's commitment to UK membership of the EU in a vote during its virtual annual conference next weekend. A resolution at the first conference under the leadership of Sir Ed Davey will not make rejoining the EU a formal target, and will be agreed by the party's Federal Policy Committee, The Independent has reported. But the move will trigger a backlash from Remainer activists, who will table an amendment to insist on a commitment to rejoin the EU. The motion will insist the Lib Dems keep all options open for the UK's future relationship with the bloc. This would include possibly rejoining at an appropriate future date to be determined by political circumstances. The motion would also force the Lib Dems to obtain backing from voters, either via a referendum or after a general election, for any future application for membership. This will be subject to public assent, as well as market and trade conditions and acceptable negotiated terms. The Lib Dems' priorities in Europe would be to highlight the inefficiencies of the UK government in its handling of the departure from the EU, and also campaign against measures which would damage the country's industry, agriculture and democracy. The motion urges the closest possible alignment between the UK and EU towards customs union, single market and freedom of movement, but does not state whether the party would ever explicitly look to restore them. It warns of deep concern of the government's insistence of completing a post-Brexit trade deal with the EU before the transition period deadline of December 31, which Downing Street has refused to extend. The motion further warns of Britain leaving the EU with a rushed, bad deal, amid uncertainties over the continued coronavirus pandemic and growing rivalries between global superpowers. It also references the Internal Market Bill, stating the Prime Minister's plan to break international law by overriding elements of the Brexit withdrawal agreement signed with the EU last year almost certainly precludes any chance of a free trade agreement with either the EU or the USA.